When we hear the word symphony, we think of an orchestra playing a variety of instruments that create beautiful music. Symphony can also be applied in other contexts, such as literature, the arts, organizations, and collaborative projects. It also refers to things harmoniously arranged to create something cohesive and complete. Rex Education's Symphony of Learning Solutions is a suite of learning tools designed by experts to nurture learners in every stage of their lifelong journey. It involves a seamless and meaningful integration of diverse learning resources and experiences that aid in creating an environment where every learner is healthy, safe, engaged, supported, challenged, and values-oriented. Every learning tool is an instrument that aims to address the issues and challenges that involve our learners and their learning achievements. REX created a seamless and meaningful symphony of learning solutions for basic education that are curriculum-aligned and technologically enabled, promote evidence-based teaching and learning, and address key challenges and concerns of learners today. REX Education offers different kinds of assessments, catering to different needs of institutions and learner to help strengthen evidence-based teaching and learning in schools. REX ACES, or Assessment of Competencies and Excellence of Students, is a standardized test created and implemented by the REX Institute for Student Excellence, or RISE, the assessment arm of REX. It is curriculum-aligned, internationally benchmarked, and is designed to check on the strengths, weaknesses, and achievements of the students and may provide data that could help institutions enhance or improve the implementation of curriculum and instruction. REX Education's work texts have been carefully designed and developed to increase opportunities for learner success and skills improvement and readiness for higher education and future employment. These resources are also meant to help learners thrive in the 21st century. Through years of collaboration with curriculum experts, competent authors, and a whole team of educampions, REX's learning materials are DepEd Matatag ready. REX work texts for pre-elementary, grade school, and junior and senior high school also integrate social-emotional learning themes relatable and adjusted to the learning capacities of each grade level. Various work texts come with an instructional kit or teacher's manual to assist our teachers in enhancing the learning experiences of students. If there is something that the pandemic taught us, it is that learning continuity is vulnerable to threats that are beyond our control. Apart from access, collaboration and alignment amongst institution members are critical in ensuring quality education is still delivered. For this, REX offers Schoology, a cloud-based learning management system that provides a centralized platform for personalized teaching and learning. It allows teachers to connect to students and families to come up with learning pathways customized to every learner's needs. Mastery of STEAM proficiencies is also critical as we prepare our learners for future. REX Education, through its partner First EduSpec Incorporated, offers an enhanced STEAM curriculum using coding and robotics as tools for experiential learning. REX Education has a series of workbooks called My Career Journey. It can be used during career guidance sessions and is composed of personal, social, academic and career learning and development modules to help Filipino youth achieve success in their chosen careers as a reasonable working citizen able to contribute to society. To help address skills mismatch, early interventions such as Harrison assessment tests may be administered for students to gain a better understanding of their strengths and weaknesses and the possible professional career that they can explore where they'll thrive best. REX Education has also partnered with JA Philippines to offer Business Skills Pass, which aims to provide students with the opportunity to develop practical entrepreneurial experience before they leave secondary schooling. REAP, or Resource for Educators, Academicians and Professionals, a training and professional development company of REX, continuously provides relevant, up-to-date, and innovative professional development solutions designed and delivered by expert trainers. From building the basic skill sets to training for proficiency to reaching mastery, Rex Education has thoughtfully designed them all with the best interests of the learner in mind and heart, and continues to push boundaries to augment learning instruments worthy of the symphony. All this we do para sa bata, para sa mamamayan, para sa bayan.
In respectful presence of our brothers and sisters across boundaries and faiths, let us all join in prayer and worship and gratitude and for guidance. Almighty and eternal God, we thank you for the gift of life and all its joys. We thank you for today, for all its challenges, in all its splendor. We thank you for the gift of one another. O God of infinite mercy and wisdom, only in unity with your will can all our toils have true meaning. Transform us into willing and able stewards of this world and its future. Bring us together to work with understanding and compassion. As we toil and grow weary, we pray for renewed strength and resolve. As we experience pain and sorrow, let us be reminded of untold good beyond. As we see pain and suffering, let us be instruments of your peace and extensions of your loving and healing hands. As we gather here today, bless us all that our collective knowledge be tempered and guided by your wisdom. Grant us clarity of vision to see the common good amidst all distractions. Endow us with humility and purity of heart to transcend all differences and reservations. When we leave this gathering, let us be the change we seek. As we endeavor to practice what we learn, let us be the good we want to see in others. As we work for our learners and their future, let it be that your will be done. In solemn silence, let us conclude with our own personal prayer.
Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw, may dilag ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng luwalhating pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mang-aapi ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this afternoon session of our webinar series on Rex Education Quality Assurance Support Program, a 16-episode online quality assurance program. We are truly grateful for your presence this afternoon. Your participation reflects your commitment to continuous improvement and excellence in education. All right, may we hear from you? Any reaction from our participants? You may type also your name and your school in our chat box. There you go. All right. So in this session, we turn our focus to a foundational yet often overlooked area of quality assurance, the physical plant, IT, and learning facilities. These elements form the backbone of a safe, inclusive, and effective learning environment. While policies and pedagogy are essential, they can only thrive in spaces that are well designed, well maintained, and future ready. We are confident that our discussion this afternoon will offer valuable insights and practical strategies that you can bring back to your own institutions. Our three panelists, experienced leaders in the field, will be sharing not just answers, but real world practices and lessons learned. So, once again, thank you for joining us. Your active participation helps shape a culture of quality in our schools. Before we go further, let us review first some important house rules. Please note that attendees do not have access to turn on their camera and microphone. You may communicate with everyone using the chat tab. Kindly wait for all presentations to finish and for the acknowledgement queue before asking questions. To ask questions, please use the Q&A tab located at the bottom of your screen. Don't forget to complete the feedback form to ensure your attendance is recorded. This form will be open for 48 hours to accept responses. A quick reminder as well to the winners of today's raffle draw. To claim your raffle prize, kindly send your full name, contact number, GCash number, or bank account and ID to any of the following: Rachel Ann Rugis with the given email and Bea Bernadette Ramos. As we begin our 11th episode, let us take a moment to revisit the highlights from our previous session. So this webinar started with episode 1, and that is the highlight going to episode 9. And in the last episode, episode 10 on student services, we learned that student services are anchored on the institution's vision, mission, and core values while aligning with national policies, quality assurance frameworks, and school standards. An effective student welfare program addresses the multidimensional needs of learners, ensuring their physical, emotional, academic, social, spiritual, and economic well-being. Also, we learned that student services must be accessible, student-centered, and supported by stakeholders, teachers, parents, and the community. Also, we learned from the panelists that student services are subject to regular evaluation. It may be annually, semi-annually, or as needed, using tools such as surveys, FGDs, using the interview guide questions, and the IQA, internal quality assurance. Student services and the physical environment go hand in hand. After all, services that promote well-being, safety, and holistic development are only as effective as the spaces in which they are delivered. Whether it's a well-equipped clinic, an accessible library, a student-friendly guidance office, or even a welcoming lounge or prayer, the physical plant brings students services life. So that brings us to our focus area in this session in the quality assurance framework, the physical plant, IT, and learning facilities. So this afternoon, we are honored to be joined by three distinguished panelists who will bring a wealth of knowledge, leadership experiences, and hands-on practice in managing and improving the physical learning environment in their respective institutions. Each of them plays a key role in ensuring that quality assurance standards in physical plant, IT infrastructure, and learning resources are not only met but constantly strengthened to support inclusive, safe, and effective learning spaces. Their perspective today will help us better understand not just the what and the how, but also the why behind quality practices in this critical area. Let us now get to know our panelists. Our first panelist is Dr. Jeremy S. Eliab. Dr. Jeremy currently serves as the Executive Vice President of Ateneo de Davao University. In his in this capacity, he provides strategic oversight of the university's facilities management, information technology system, emergency response mechanism, and learning environment development. He chairs the university's physical plant committee and the space allocation committee, and is a member of the risk and audit committee of the board of trustees. Mr. Eliab led major institutional projects, including the development of the senior high school campus and several multi-story academic and support buildings. He is the principal author of the university's internal emergency plan and was instrumental in the design and implementation of Ateneo de Davao's HIS Flex hybrid learning classrooms, now deployed in over 100 learning spaces. He has also pioneered the university's digital infrastructure for safety and monitoring, including a unified CCTV system, IoT-enabled campus air quality stations, and a campus-wide online emergency alarm system. He previously chaired the Special Audit Committee on IT System and continues to support quality assurance in learning environment through his work in infrastructure innovation. Mr. Eliab is a fellow of the University Design Institute of Arizona State University, where he focused on lifelong learning systems, micro-credentialing, and institutional transformation. With over 3 decades of experience in Jesuit education, Mr. Eliab brings to this panel a deep and integrated perspective on quality assurance and physical plant development, information systems, and educational facilities planning. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Dr. Jeremy S. Eliab. How are you, Dr. Paul? This
Hello,
afternoon.
good afternoon. Thank you.
Okay, welcome, Dr. Eliab. Our second panelist is Dr. Joselito C. Gutierrez, a graduate of the degrees Bachelor in Elementary and Secondary Education, Master of Arts in Education, Master of Arts in Early Childhood Education, and Doctor of Philosophy in Language Education, and currently enrolled in Master of Arts in Special Education. He was a former director of the Community Extension and Outreach Programs Office and assistant principal of St. Louis University Laboratory Junior High School. He is the executive assistant to the president of St. Louis University, Baguio City, regional program coordinator of PAAC CAR, and regional secretary of CAAP CAR. He is a member of the National Basic Education Commission of the CAAP and currently works as a monitor of the PAAC, a CPD monitor of the Professional Regulations Commission, a PASCO accreditor for basic education, and as assessor of the ASEAN University Network Quality Assurance, or AUNQA. Help me welcome our second panelist, Dr. Joselito C. Gutierrez.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Our third panelist, Mr. John Clyde M. Branches, is the assistant principal of Children First School Incorporated in Santiago City, Philippines. He graduated cum laude with a degree in Bachelor in Social Science Education from Philippine Normal University, North Luzon. As a core group member of the school administration, he played a vital role in the successful PAAC Junior High certification and recertification by reviewing and preparing key requirements and MOVs. He is also an active Matatag 4 speaker, helping train educators across Luzon on revised K-10 curriculum. His specialization is in Araling Panlipunan, where he continues to provide guidance to fellow teachers. Mr. Ranches is known for his commitment to quality education and instructional leadership. His work bridges policy implementation with practical classroom strategies. With a strong background in school management and curriculum development, he remains dedicated to uplifting education standards. Help me welcome our third panelist, Mr. John Clyde M. Ranches.
Good
Sir?
afternoon, everyone.
All right. Thank you to our dear panelists for being with us today. We look forward to learning from your strategies, challenges, and innovation as we begin our conversation. In our roundtable discussion this afternoon, our three panelists will share policies, practices, and first-hand experiences on how their institution ensure that the built environment aligns with both educational standards and the evolving needs of students and staff. Its response today will enrich our understanding of how school can be more responsive, resilient, and resourceful in meeting quality standards. All right, so given these discussion points, let's now begin with the first question. What institutional policies or guidelines govern the provision and maintenance of physical facilities, infrastructure, and learning resources? Let's start with our first panelist, Sir Bong Eliab. Take it away, Sir Bong.
Thank you. Thank you, Gio. Okay, let me begin by emphasizing that all our infrastructure decisions, whether physical, technological, or resource-based, must align with the vision and mission of the school. We are not just building spaces or buying equipment. We are shaping environments that form persons of competence, integrity, and compassion. To meet this goal, our work is governed by multiple layers of policies and standards. At the national level, we rely on CHED PSGs for higher education and DepEd memorandum orders for basic education. These set the minimum requirements for physical facilities, IT infrastructure, and learning resource centers. They cover classrooms, laboratories, libraries, internet connectivity, learning management systems, and more. For K-12 schools, DepEd's Facilities Manual and ICT Strategic Plan guide the design and tech enablement of learning spaces. All of this ensure that our baseline infrastructure supports modern pedagogy and digital literacy. Equally important are our obligations under national laws, and this will include National Building Code, the Fire Code, the laws such as Republic Act 7277 and the BP 344, which ensure accessibility for persons with disabilities. The Clean Air Act and the Clean Water Act also apply, mainly when we operate wastewater treatment plants or STPs or generators in our schools, or when we have chemistry laboratories. So those laws will apply to us. So these are not just compliance issues. They directly impact safety, equity, and the quality of learning environment. Internally, our institutional quality assurance systems serve as both a framework for continuous improvement and a mechanism for accountability. We rely on preventive maintenance programs, accessibility audits, IT inventory and support systems, campus development plan, and learning resource utilization reports. These systems align with the rubrics used by accrediting agencies, for example, and this will assess whether our classrooms, labs, libraries, and IT systems are adequate, clean, accessible, and up-to-date. They check for the presence of development plans, emergency preparedness protocols, inclusive facilities, and regulatory compliance. A strong emphasis is placed on having offices or personnel responsible for oversight with sufficient budget, support, and regular evaluation of all facilities and infrastructure. Finally, we also align with international standards and global goals. Frameworks like ISO 21001, ANQA, and the PQF challenge us to build learning ecosystems that are inclusive, tech-enabled, scalable, and globally responsive. These are reinforced by the UN Sustainable Development Goals, especially SDG 4 on quality education, SDG 9 on innovation and infrastructure, and SDG 11 on sustainable and inclusive communities. So to answer the question, what governs our infrastructure, IT systems, and learning resources? Multiple layers guide us. Our mission, our school mission, tells us why we build. CHED and DepEd standards tell us what the minimums are. National laws ensure our campuses are legal and safe. Internal QA helps us manage, assess, and improve, while international frameworks ensure we're not just keeping up, but moving ahead. It's not enough to meet requirements. We must embed these frameworks into our institutional culture, planning systems, and budgeting priorities. That's how we create buildings, enabling environments for formation, learning, and transformation. Now, on the second slide, I'll discuss about Campus Development Plan, or CDP. Accrediting agencies increasingly expect institutions to have a Campus Development Plan, or CDP, as part of their accreditation requirements. This is especially emphasized in the physical plant and facilities, administration, and support service areas. A strong CDP signals that the school is not just maintaining what it has, but is thinking strategically, ensuring that its infrastructure supports academic excellence, research, institutional priorities, and stakeholders' well-being. An accreditation-ready CDP includes several components. It begins with a clear introduction and rationale, explaining how the plan aligns with the school's mission, vision, and goals, and addresses specific quality standards set by accrediting bodies. It then includes a situational analysis, which looks at the existing inventory of buildings and spaces, current capacities compared to enrollment projections, and even site constraints or zoning issues. This section also covers health, safety, accessibility audits, as well as concerns on sustainable initiatives. From there, the plan sets its development goals and objectives, not just for classrooms, but for admin areas, green spaces, learning commons, laboratories, and tech infrastructure. There is also space and facilities planning section with master layouts, proposed buildings or renovations, and upgrades for inclusivity, safety, and environmental impact. Support systems such as utilities, drainage, transportation, ICT infrastructure plan are also covered, along with the school's disaster risk reduction and emergency preparedness mechanisms. A strong campus development plan also includes a component on sustainable initiatives, green building practices, water and energy conservation, and open space planning. Phasing and timelines help break down the vision into short, medium, or long-term projects for your campus, while a realistic budget and resource plan anchors it financially. And just as important, governance. A dedicated steering committee on facilities management must be present in your school. Regular stakeholder consultations and a built-in monitoring and evaluation system are key to successful implementation. Now, how should your schools prepare their CDPs or campus development plan? It begins with a comprehensive audit of current facilities and compliance levels. Then engage stakeholders, faculty, staff, students, and even the LGU. Align the plan with your institutional strategic goals. Work with your engineers and experts to ensure designs are functional and scalable. Ground everything in data, such as enrollment trends and room usage, and make the plan measurable by setting milestones and KPIs. Finally, the campus development plan should be treated as a living document, updated as the institution evolves. When written, supported with visuals, and aligned with your quality assurance framework, the campus development plan becomes more than just a document. It becomes a blueprint of the future of your school. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Bo, presenting to us the different frameworks and campus development plan. Now, let us see how these frameworks and campus development plan are implemented in the school from the perspective of an administrator, from Dr. Roselito C. Gutierrez.
Thank you very much, Sir Giovanni. Sir Jeremy was able to present already some aspects, no, some policies, no, that help us, no, to that helps the institution to establish a certain policy or guideline pertaining to maintenance of facilities, of IT infrastructure, and learning resources. Now, for us now in St. Louis University, the provision and maintenance of physical facilities, IT infrastructure, and learning resources are governed by a comprehensive set of institutional policies and guidelines that align with the institution's strategic vision and operational standards. We are guided by the vision of our visionary president, Father Gilbert Sales. He established a certain guideline for us to follow in establishing the particular policies pertaining to physical facilities. These policies are embedded within the strategic directions of the institution, ensuring that infrastructure development and resource management support the institution's academic excellence, research capabilities, and community engagement or community participation. They establish clear protocols for the planning, for allocation and upkeep of physical spaces and technological assets, promoting a safe, accessible, and conducive environment for learning and innovation. Furthermore, the institution's policies are designed to meet all relevant regulatory and accrediting requirements like the PASCO, the AUNQA, the CDRRM, and everything, safeguarding the quality and compliance of its facilities and resources. As part of the laboratory development plan, specific guidelines outline standards for laboratory safety, equipment maintenance, and resource availability that is to ensure that facilities support high quality teaching or high quality lesson delivery. Research and industry collaboration is also part of this particular mandate, no, in checking our laboratory development plan. These policies are regularly reviewed and updated to reflect the evolving best practices, interests of our stakeholders, technological advancements, and compliance mandates, thereby maintaining the institution's credibility and accreditation status. These institutional policies are explicitly aligned with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, particularly those related to quality education, sustainable cities and communities in Goal 11, and industry innovation and infrastructure in Goal 9. The alignment ensures that the university's infrastructure development and resource management contribute to sustainable development principles, such as environmental stewardship, social inclusivity, and economic efficiency. Because we are not only aligning our physical plant development in terms of the guidelines given to us by the government or by the different agencies, but we are also aligning our practices with our vision mission and of course with the CICM advocacy on justice, on peace, integrity of creation, and of course considering the indigenous peoples in our community. The policies incorporate standards for energy efficiency. Hence, we have solar panels in our buildings. We have our sewage treatment plant that is recycling used water. And of course, we have our Water is Life, no, that is water refilling station within the university that is to avoid the use of single plastics or bottled water in the university. Ensuring that the physical and digital infrastructure supports the broader global commitments reflected in the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Particularly, just to share with you also that our institution is a Laudato Si school because we are also following the mandate coming from Pope Francis that part of our development plan in our infrastructure, we need to consider our environment. In addition, the digital campus system is governed by dedicated policies that regulate the deployment, the security, and ongoing maintenance of digital infrastructure and e-learning resources. These guidelines ensure the integrity, accessibility, and confidentiality of digital platforms. Hence, we have our security command. This is our system wherein to oversee kung ano man yung mga possible problems happening in the internet or in the IT, supporting seamless online learning and administrative operations. By integrating these policies within the broader institutional framework, the university ensures a cohesive approach to infrastructure management, one that fosters innovation, meets regulatory standards, and aligns with the university's strategic priorities for sustainable growth and excellence. Finally, to strategic and sustainable considerations, the policies also establish clear guidelines for the ongoing maintenance, safety, and technological updates of facilities and IT infrastructure. We have ongoing maintenance, safety, and technological updates of our facilities and infrastructures. These guidelines promote a proactive approach to resource management, including regular audits, risk assessments, and upgrades to adapt to evolving technological advancement and pedagogical needs. By adhering to these policies, the university ensures, or our institution ensures, that its physical and digital environments remain conducive to learning, for research, for innovation, and community engagement, thereby fostering an inclusive, resilient, and sustainable academic community. Thank you very much, Giovanni.
Thank you very much, Doc Joy, for presenting to us varied ways of implementing the policy and guidelines on physical facilities. Now let's hear experiences from a teacher, from Mr. John Clyde M. Ranches.
Thank you, sir. As given by our co-panelists for this afternoon, they have given the general institutional policies or guidelines, specifically national or international policies that governs the provisions and maintenance of the physical facilities. Now, we all know that institutional policies or guidelines help keep things fair and organized for everyone. So they give clear direction so people know what to do and what's expected to do, or what's expected to them. So specifically, ano nga ba yung kailangan meron ng isang school or ang isang educational institution? So first, a school should have clear data privacy policies to protect the personal information of students, teachers, and parents. Though we have a national guideline for that, a school should have, or I believe a school should have a tailored fit. Ay, okay po. Am I audible po? Hindi daw masyadong malakas. Okay. Again, a school should have a tailored fit, clear data privacy policies. Okay. So as schools begin to use digital tools like LMS, learning management systems, some use online enrollment forms or e-libraries. So it becomes even more important to ensure that the data gathered is handled with care and confidentiality. Next is schools need proper waste disposal and sanitation guidelines. So having clear systems for trash segregation, regular cleaning schedules, and hygiene reminders contributes to a healthier and more respectful environment, especially in shared spaces like classrooms, restrooms, and canteens. The next thing to consider is our inclusivity policies. These are also essential. Why? A school should provide learning opportunities that are accessible to all learners. That includes those with diverse learning needs, or even those learners that needs special attention. This could involve offering alternative formats for learning to them, offering promoting inclusive language, or creating safe spaces where students feel valued and supported. Now, when it comes to safety, schools should implement disaster preparedness and emergency response protocols. This includes conducting regular fire and earthquake drills, identifying emergency exits, and orienting both students, parents, teachers, and staff on what to do in various emergency scenarios. So these simple steps can save lives and reduce panic during critical situations. In the area of technology, I believe a school should have ICT use and maintenance guidelines. So, what's the use of this? This help ensure that equipment such as computers, projectors, printers are used properly and maintained regularly. It's also important to have a basic support system in place to respond to technical issues that may affect learning or operations. On the other hand, libraries and learning resource centers should have usage policies that guide students and teachers in accessing materials, whether it is a printed material or in a digital form. Clear rules encourage responsibility, maximize their access, and ensure that resources are preserved for future users. And finally, schools need guidelines for using laboratories, such as science laboratory and computer labs. This should outline safety rules, handling of specific equipment, and student responsibilities during experiments or computer sessions. So this promotes both learning and safety. So all in all, in summary, I believe that these policies, from data privacy to disaster preparedness, are not just about rules. They are about creating a school culture and school identity. Without them, we cannot create a school culture and school identity that supports learning, safety, respect, and inclusion. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing those insights, and also to the rest of the panelists. So clear, comprehensive, and regularly updated policies are essential in ensuring that school facilities, technology, and resources are aligned with national regulation, international standards, accreditation, benchmark, and institution goals, or even campus development plan, answering CMOs, DOs, and IQAs. So policies and frameworks set the foundation, but it's their consistent implementation that sustains quality. So with policies as the backbone, let's now shift our attention to the day-to-day practices that make a real difference in creating learning spaces that are welcoming, inclusive, and learner-centered. Let us now move on to the next question. What best practices support the development of inclusive and student-friendly learning environments? Let's hear from our first panelist, Sir Bong Eliab.
Thank you. Okay. In creating schools that are inclusive and student-friendly, we need more than just isolated good intentions. What we need is a framework, a set of guiding principles that can help us turn our limited resources in our schools into meaningful, lasting impact. Let me offer a 5-part framework that can guide how schools, especially small ones and resource-challenged ones, can plan and implement improvements towards inclusivity. Each principle links directly to what should be found in the school's campus development plan. First principle, design with universal accessibility. Accessibility is not just for big campuses with big budgets. In our framework, universal design is a baseline, not an afterthought. This means ensuring every new construction or renovation includes basic elements. For example, light switches at 90 centimeters from the floor line so that those who are in the wheelchair can turn on the lights or turn off the lights. Ramps with proper slope, bold readable signs, handrails, wide swing out doorways, or if possible, quiet spaces for learners who need them. This supports not only persons with disabilities, but also aging and seasoned teachers, pregnant staff, or students with temporary injuries or sensory challenges. In your campus development plan, universal design must be included in your building specs, your renovation checklists, and your accessibility audit tools. Even small improvements like repainting for contrast or adding a handrail can make your school radically more inclusive. Second principle, build for safety, security, and peace of mind. Inclusion is impossible without a strong sense of physical and emotional safety. This framework calls for applying passive safety design on what we call crime prevention through environmental design, or CPT-ED. That includes low-cost ideas like trimming overgrown plants, painting clear lines for safe walkways, installing mirrors in blind corners, or assigning safe waiting zones near the faculty room or guard post or gate. You don't need a budget for new buildings. You just need to map out your campus with safety in mind. Your campus development plan should reflect this by including safety zones, CPDED inspired layouts, and maintenance checklist for safety features. When safety is visible and consistent, students feel more confident and ready to learn. Third principle, manage with data, not just gut feeling. Good facility management must be data-driven and data-informed, even in small schools. You don't need high-tech system. You can start with a logbook in every classroom or QR codes on doors where students and staff can report problems like broken fans or leaking faucets. Then prioritize repairs not based on who shouts the loudest, but based on usage urgency and student impact. In your campus development plan, make sure to include a preventive maintenance system, however simple. Add timelines, usage reports, and prioritize student-centered spaces like classrooms, libraries, and CRs. This is not just about being organized, it's about equity. Because a broken fan in a hot classroom is not a minor problem. For a poor child who has no electricity at home, it's the only time in the day in the classroom that they get to learn in comfort. Fourth principle, reimagine spaces for belonging. This part of the framework reminds us to see space not just as square meters, but as experiences. So let's shift our mind that spaces are experiences. Can a hallway become a reading nook? Can an empty wall become a message board? Can a corner near the clinic be a breastfeeding pod? Inclusion is about welcoming different needs and rhythms. Prayer corners, quiet zones, shaded waiting areas. Your campus development plan should include a space utilization study. Identify which areas are underused between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m., for example. So, which areas in your campus are underused between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m.? Then ask, how might we repurpose this space to make more students feel like they belong? In a school where students feel seen and safe, engagement goes up and dropouts go down. Fifth and final principle, plan with, not just for, the community. Inclusion means participation. This framework encourages schools to organize campus safety walks. We do this often in Ateneo, campus safety walks. Simple, routine walkthroughs involving students, teachers, safety officers, staff, even parents. They help to identify blind spots, dark corners, broken railings, or areas where students feel unsafe or excluded. or areas where mosquitoes may breed for your anti-dengue campaign, then take that feedback, document it, and fold it into your facility plans and budget priorities. In your campus development plan, institutionalize this as a process, not just a consultation, but a cycle of listening, documenting, acting, and reporting back. When students and staff are involved in shaping the environment, they are more likely to take care of it. Participation becomes protection. So let me close with this. An inclusive and student-friendly school does not start with large budget. It starts with clear principles, steady leadership, and a thoughtful planning. This five-part framework, designing for access, building for safety, managing with data, reimagining spaces, and planning with the community is simple but powerful. And your campus development plan is the tool that brings it all together. It is where your values are translated into sketches, budgets, timelines, and priorities. Let's commit to building schools that don't just function, but welcome, protect, and inspire every learner who walks through our gates. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Bong, for presenting those very practical measures in ensuring safety and uh, better environment, learning environment for our students, and also for sharing best practice framework. Now let's hear from uh, Doc Joy for his sharing.
Creating inclusive and student-friendly learning environment is essential for fostering equitable educational experiences where all learners feel valued, safe, and motivated to engage actively. Best practices begin with establishing a culture of respect and understanding where diversity is celebrated and each student's unique needs and backgrounds are acknowledged. This involves training educators to incorporate culturally responsive pedagogies to adapt their teaching strategies and accommodate different learning styles, ensuring that every learner has equitable access to quality education, promoting open communication, and encouraging student participation also contribute to a welcoming atmosphere that supports inclusivity. Ensuring the safety and security of learners is a foundational aspect of developing an inclusive environment. Schools should implement clear safety protocols, maintain secure facilities, and foster an atmosphere of trust where students feel confident to express themselves without fear of discrimination or harm. Regular safety drills, accessible reporting mechanisms, and staff training on safeguarding policies are vital. When learners feel physically and emotionally safe, they are more likely to participate fully and take risks in their learning, which ultimately enhances their educational experiences. Utilizing school facilities effectively is crucial for creating a conducive learning environment. This involves not only having well-maintained and accessible spaces, but also actively incorporating the use of these facilities into lesson delivery. Teachers should plan lessons that leverage different areas like the libraries, the computer labs, sports facilities, and outdoor spaces to enrich learning experiences and cater to diverse interests and learning needs. Proper scheduling ensures that these facilities are available when needed, preventing overlaps and conflicts and maximizing their potential to support varied pedagogical activities. In addition to integrating facilities into lesson plans, it is important to develop a systematic schedule for their use that considers the needs of all classes and activities. Planning ensures equitable access for all learners and prevents resource bottlenecks. By involving students and staff in scheduling discussions, schools can foster a sense of shared ownership and responsibility for maintaining a safe and inclusive environment. Proper scheduling will allow us for the flexible use of facilities for extracurricular activities, community engagement, and special events that will further enrich the educational experiences of our clienteles. Finally, Continuous reflection and improvement are vital to sustaining inclusive and student-friendly environments. Schools should regularly assess their safety measures, facility utilization, and inclusivity practices through feedbacking from the students, staff, and parents. Incorporating these feedbacks help identify gaps and develop targeted strategies to enhance our services to our students. Professional development also for teacher and staff on inclusive practices and facility management ensures that the environment remains responsive to evolving student needs. Through these best practices, educational institutions can build nurturing spaces where all learners thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. Sir Giovanni, can you present the next slide? The pictures. The first picture is actually our gymnasium. Creating an inclusive and student-friendly learning environment involves designing spaces that cater to diverse needs and promote community engagement. Our gymnasium, the Prince Bernhard Gym, serves as a dynamic hub where students can maintain their physical health, participate in team sports, and foster teamwork and leadership skills. Its accessible design ensures that students of all abilities can enjoy fitness activities, encouraging a culture of wellness and active living. Similarly, our cozy coffee shop within the library, that's the second picture, offers a welcoming space for students to socialize, collaborate on projects, or unwind with a warm beverage, fostering a sense of community comfort. Beyond physical activity and social spaces, prioritizing mental health and overall well-being is essential in a student. Hence, we have this particular Talged Center. This is a wellness center for all our students and faculty. A dedicated center for wellness and mental health provides confidential support, resources, and programs aimed at reducing stress, managing anxiety, and promoting emotional resilience. Such a space demonstrates a commitment to holistic student development, ensuring that mental health is valued alongside academic success. The environment encourages open dialogue and destigmatizes seeking help, making students feel supported and understood. Furthermore, integrating sustainable and health-conscious features like the water's life, the last picture, that is our refilling station, underscores the institution's dedication to student wellness and environmental responsibility. This station offers free access to clean drinking water, encouraging students to stay hydrated and reduce plastic waste. Together, these thoughtfully designed spaces cultivate an inclusive, supportive, and vibrant learning environment where students feel valued, empowered, and equipped to thrive both academically and personally. And I would like also to acknowledge our president, no, Father Sales, for really putting this into his strategic direction. That is to ensure that all our students, faculty, and even the parents and stakeholders will enjoy our safe and inclusive learning environment and the different physical facilities. Thank you very much, Sir Giovanni.
Wow, Dr. Joy, thank you so much for presenting those parang nakaka-insecure facilities. And of course, some of our schools and school administrators here are now challenged to provide like this one, like these facilities in our school. Now let's hear from Mr. Clyde, the best practices that he experienced in his school.
Ayan, thank you, Sir Giovanni. So when we talk about creating inclusive and student-friendly learning environments, I think it's important to ask, the very big question to ask is, are we really putting the right systems and spaces in place for all our learners? So the answer to this is, what is the purpose ba kasi in putting such learning space for them? For instance, are infographics and visuals posted around the school to help guide students and raise awareness on important topics? Sometimes even a simple poster in the right place can make a big impact to them. The next question is, Are our lessons designed to be inclusive and curriculum aligned? So are we using differentiated strategies or even assistive technologies to support learners with different needs and backgrounds? Do our classrooms and activities promote gender sensitivity? Are we making efforts to provide inclusive instruction and even consider facilities like LGBT-friendly restrooms? Though some, ano no, some institutions uh, are not into this because of their institutional values. So, but are we considering such facility inside our institution? 'Di ba? So do we have wellness areas or peace corners, gaya po ng mga nasabi kanina? Quiet spaces where students and even teachers can pause, reflect, and take care of their mental well-being. In our school grounds kasi ay malawak, no? So we have spaces there for what we call peace corners. Yun kasi ang tawag namin, peace corners. So the students, even the teachers minsan nandoon nakaupo, 'di ba? Nakatulala, hindi lang natin alam na kung ano yung reflect nila, but it helps. It helps itong mga peace corners na ito to balance their psychosocial well-being. With that of technology naman, we also need to, next slide po. Yan. With the technology part, we also need to ask, are we using digital tools like QR coded forms to gather feedback and monitoring programs efficiently? So, do we have QR codes in front of the classrooms? Or even if the school, kapag ang school ay hindi po niya kayang mag-provide ng RFID system for students, QR codes, Google Forms are useful for attendance checking. Di ba po? So together, it's a small step, but it helps give students and staff a voice. So another, are our e-libraries and digital learning resources truly accessible to both teachers and students? Or nasa library lang, hindi ginagamit? So can they easily use them both inside and outside the classroom? What about our classroom setup? Is it flexible enough with movable chairs or adjustable furnitures for flexible learning? Di ba po? We all have strategies inside the classroom. So does the classroom setup itself is flexible, di ba po? So this is to support collaboration, individual learning, and even inclusive participation among students kasi. And beyond the classroom, are we creating sustainable school environments? Do we have water stations, proper waste disposal systems, gardens, or even rainwater catchment systems, etc., etc.? So these are questions we should keep asking, not just to highlight what we lack in our institution, but to guide our next steps. Because when we commit to making our schools more inclusive, even these small changes inside our institution can lead to meaningful progress for our learners. That's it, sir.
Right. Thank you so much, Sir Clyde, for presenting your experiences and best practices when it comes to support and development of inclusive and student-friendly learning environment. So when inclusivity is prioritized from universal design principles, standards to climate action layout, and accessibility features, really becomes not only possible but all for all, but also meaningful and empowering. An inclusive physical environment reflects an inclusive institutional mindset. So at this juncture, let's have our raffle draw. So have a break. And as I encourage the participants to write your question in the Q&A tab, share your insights in the chat box. Michelle.
Good afternoon po, our dear participants. So before we start with the raffle draw for today's session, we highly encourage everyone po to be present during the raffle draw. Because once your name is called and you are not present, your prize will be forfeited and we will draw again for the another winner po. So let's start na po. Okay, and the first lucky winner for today's session is Mr. Reynaldo Molano. Mr. Reynaldo Molano, please let us know po if you're here. Okay. Okay, so since wala po si Sir Reynaldo, tawag po tayo ulit. Okay, we have here Sir Jeric Albay. Sir Jeric Albay, please let us know po if you're here. Okay, so wala rin daw po si Sir Jeric. Tawag po tayo ulit ng ating first lucky winner for today. We have here Sir Daniel Reyes. Sir Daniel, nandito po ba kayo sa ating episode for today o wala po? So since wala po ulit si Sir Daniel, sorry po, tawag po tayo ulit ng ating first lucky winner. Okay, so we have here Miss Manuela Golpe. Miss Manuela Golpe? Wala rin daw po si Ma'am Manuela. Tawag po tayo ulit. We have here Miss Janice Marie Alagon. Miss Janice Marie Alagon. Okay, so since nandito po si Ma'am Janice Marie, congratulations po again, Ma'am Janice Marie Alagon. You are the first lucky winner for today. So since magkakaroon po tayo ng total of 6 raffle draw winners, tawag po tayo ulit ng pangalawang raffle draw winner po natin ngayon. We have Miss Marisa Ventura. Miss Marisa Ventura. Okay, nandito daw po si Ma'am Marisa. Congratulations po, Ma'am Marisa Ventura, our second lucky winner for today po. Okay, tawag po tayo ng ating pangatlong lucky winner for today's session. We have Sir Romel Ranieses. Sir Romel Ranieses. Okay, nandito daw po si Sir Romel. Congratulations po, Sir Romel Ranieses, our third lucky winner. Thank you so much po.
Okay. Am I audible? All right. Congratulations to our first set of winners. So let's proceed. Having explored inclusive practices, it's time to look into how physical learning spaces directly influence student performance and engagement. Facilities are not just physical structures, they are learning tools in themselves. So our next question is, how do learning spaces, classrooms, laboratories, libraries impact student engagement and academic performance? So let's hear first from Sir Bong.
Thank you. When we ask about how learning spaces affect student engagement and performance, we are really asking, how do we shape environments in our schools that remove barriers and unlock learning? Let me share a framework of 6 principles rooted in learning theory, design thinking, and on-the-ground realities of our schools in the Philippines. First, preventive maintenance keeps learning flowing, not interrupted. Learning theories like constructivism tell us that knowledge is built through continuous active engagement. But when your projector breaks or your ceiling starts to leak in the middle of a lesson, that flow is broken. And for students in small schools, every uninterrupted hour matters. That's why regular preventive maintenance of audiovisual tools, lighting, fans, lab gear, electrical outlets is not just a facilities concern. It's an academic priority. A busted fan is a broken focus. A faulty socket in a science lab means one less experiment for hands-on learning. So in your planning, include simple maintenance logs, feedback forms, and a checklist as academic tools, not just operational ones. Number 2, comfort drives cognition. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, before a student can aim for academic achievement, their physical needs must be met. That includes thermal comfort in our classrooms and libraries, clean restrooms, decent chairs, and management of noise levels. If a child is sweating in a crowded room with poor ventilation, it affects memory, mood, and motivation. Poor acoustics make it harder to understand even the clearest teacher. Comfort does not always require air conditioning or expensive renovations. Sometimes it's about simple window repairs, shaded waiting areas, or functioning fans. This send a message. Your comfort matters in our school. And when comfort is present, students retain more, participate more, and stay longer. Third, secure environments support student presence and participation. Engagement starts with showing up and staying present. Social learning theory reminds us that students thrive in spaces where they feel physically and psychologically safe. This begins with basics: visible guards or marshals, working gates, clear exits, clean hallways, and good lighting, doors equipped with narrow glass panes for monitoring, or anti-sexual harassment doors, where you can see what's inside the room. In our schools, it's even more important that what the environment says. You are safe here. Even small improvements like brighter LED bulbs in corridors or trimmed shrubbery can lower anxiety among students. Safe students are more likely to ask questions, stay after class, or join after school clubs. Security is not separate from learning. It's the platform that allows it to happen. Fourth, flexible learning zones encourage active learning. We know that 21st century learning emphasizes collaboration, communication, and creativity. But students cannot collaborate in fixed rows with broken chairs or no electrical sockets for their devices. Functional learning spaces allow for movement, motion, group work, solo study, or tech integration. Even in small schools, this could mean movable chairs, whiteboards on wheels, or reconfigurable seating made by local carpenters. Active learning depends on flexible infrastructure and a facility team that keeps it working in order. Learning does not happen in theory. It happens in rooms that adapt to student needs. Number 5, well-kept libraries reinforce independent study habits. A tidy functional library supports self-directed learning, a key element of constructivist and inquiry-based education. When a student finds a space that's quiet, well-lit, with decent Wi-Fi, working fans, and organized shelves, they stay longer. They explore, they reflect. Small upgrades matter. A functioning LED bulb, a dust-free reading corner, a working printer, a safe space to have a power nap. Even in our libraries, we should encourage people to sleep in order to get their power nap. They say, this place is meant for you. And when students feel that, they begin to own their learning. Number 6, laboratories reflect the institutional academic credibility of our schools. In science and technical subjects, the learning space is the learning tool. A clean, safe, and compliant laboratory inspires trust. When students see calibrated instruments, proper waste disposal, and working safety equipment, they engage better. They believe that what they are learning is real and relevant. On the other hand, a rundown lab quietly says, science is not important here. So even in low-resource settings, prioritize safety, cleanliness, and basic order. Calibrate what you have. Organize yourselves. Post safety reminders. Make every science corner feel purposeful. Let's remember, spaces are silent teachers. They send signals about what we value and who we value. Classrooms, labs, and libraries are not just places. They are frameworks that support or hinder student engagement. And whether or not we have billions in funding, we can always design and maintain our learning spaces with care, intention, and deep respect for every child's potential. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, presenting to us various learning spaces that will impact and predict student engagement and academic performance. All right, so let's now proceed with sharing of the first Joy for the third question.
Okay. For the third question, how do learning spaces like classrooms, laboratories, libraries impact student engagement and academic performance? Learning spaces such as classrooms, laboratories, and libraries play a crucial role in shaping student engagement and academic performance. When designed effectively, these environments foster a sense of curiosity and motivation, encouraging students to actively participate in their learning process. For instance, classrooms that are flexible and equipped with various teaching tools enable teachers to employ diverse instructional strategies, making lessons more interactive and relevant. This heightened engagement not only captures students' interest but also promotes deeper understanding of the subject matter. Laboratories serve as hands-on learning environments where students can apply theoretical knowledge in practical contexts. By conducting experiments and engaging in inquiry-based activities, learners are able to connect abstract concepts to real-world applications. This experiential learning approach enhances comprehension, retention, and critical thinking skills. Furthermore, laboratories often stimulate collaborative work, which fosters communication and teamwork, essential skills for academic success and future careers. Libraries, on the other hand, provide a quiet and resource-rich setting that supports independent learning and research. Access to diverse materials and digital resources enable students to explore topics in greater depth, encouraging self-directed study, and when students utilize library spaces effectively, they develop research skills, improve information literacy, and gain a better understanding of complex concepts beyond classroom lectures. The availability of such dedicated spaces motivates learners to take ownership of their educational journey, thereby positively impacting their academic performance. Overall, the strategic utilization of various learning spaces significantly enhances student engagement by creating a dynamic and supportive environment. These spaces allow to deeper exploration of lessons through hands-on activities, collaborative projects, and independent research, all of which contribute to a richer understanding of academic content. When educators leverage the full potential of classrooms, laboratories, and libraries, they foster a learning culture that promotes curiosity, mastery, and lifelong learning skills essential for academic and personal success. Thank you, Sir Giovanni.
Thank you, Sir Joy. Yes, I agree. Strategic utilization of learning spaces will really deepen understanding of the lesson and also increase student engagement. Now let's hear from Sir Clyde on his sharing about the the impact of learning spaces on student engagement.
Yan.
Sir Clyde?
Am I audible, sir?
Yes po.
Okay. So, when we think about how students stay engaged and do well in school, we don't always talk about the learning spaces. We always talk about the strategies, the pedagogy, etc., etc. But they actually play a huge role in our teaching and learning. And we don't even have to look far. There's a lot of local researches here in the Philippines that will give us the importance of learning spaces. For example, in a classroom, in one study from Central Visayas, senior high school students said that the design of their classrooms really affects their focus and motivation. Uh, Based on the study, classrooms that are too plain can be a bit boring, but too many decorations can also be distracting too. So the best setup here is somewhere in between. So it should be organized. The classroom should be organized, comfortable for the learners, and not too overwhelming. So another study from Mindanao is focused on the ALS learners, and it showed that when classrooms are physically and emotionally supportive, students tend to be more motivated, attend more regularly in their classes, and even perform better in their lessons. So, really, it's not just about how the classroom looks, but it's about how we make the students or the emotional state of the students, how they feel when they enter the classroom. So if they feel safe and welcome, they're more likely to learn. On the other hand, for laboratories, Students in Zamboanga del Sur, especially those in the STEM strand, share that they struggled with science subjects because they rarely had access to actual lab work. So it's hard to understand certain concepts in science, for example, if everything's in a theory-based learning. So that's why having working well-equipped labs isn't just a bonus. It's essential for our learners. So students learn better when they can try things for themselves. It helps them understand the lesson, builds their confidence actually during their collaboration in group works, and connects classroom learning to the real world scenario. While in libraries, as for libraries, studies from schools and universities all show the same thing. Students who regularly use the library tend to do better academically. So it helps them improve their reading, writing, and research skills. And when libraries offer extra support, like tutorials, are we having tutorials in the library, or even assistance to the learners, or access to digital resources? They really help close the gap for students who are struggling or don't have uh, specific resources at home. So basically, libraries are not just rooms with books, they are support systems. And when we invest in them, we are investing in equity. Every student, no matter their background, gets a fairer shot at learning. Sabi nga nila, base dun sa kasalukuyang general theme ng Nutrition Month, kailangan ang nutrisyon daw ay hindi siya essential lang, kundi karapatan natin. So, can we make learning spaces like physical facilities, libraries, laboratories a right rather than an essential? Because when we consider them on, or when we inculcate students that using laboratories and these facilities are right, it means that they are required to use it for their learning, and of course to maximize their learning inside our institution. So whether it's a classroom, a laboratory, or in the library, learning spaces really have a direct impact on how students grow and learn. And hopefully, we can inculcate to we can share this to our dear educators in our campuses. That's all.
Thank you, dear panelists, for sharing a very insightful discussion. So the discussion clearly shows that well-designed, flexible, and stimulating learning environments can spark curiosity, promote collaboration, and significantly boost academic motivation. So a space that inspires is a space where students thrive. So finally, let us turn our lens to our high. Many institutions grapple with constraints, be it financial, technological, or structural. So let's hear from our panelists their thoughts on the final question. Sir Jeremy?
Okay, let's face it, when we talk about quality education, we often focus on curriculum, teaching strategies, or assessment. But behind all this quieter is often overlooked foundation, our facilities, our technology, and our learning resources. So today, let me walk you through the most common challenges we face in this area. Challenges that many of us in basic education, especially in the provinces, know too well. First, lack of reliable internet and basic ICT equipment. This is no longer just a technology issue. In today's classrooms, internet access is already a basic utility like electricity or water. But many of our schools still suffer from unstable internet connections, outdated routers or modems, or total dependence on a single Wi-Fi line for the entire campus. Worse, many teachers are using personal data on their own laptops just to keep up. When IT tools are this unreliable, our students fall behind, not just in tech skills, but in accessing digital learning, research, and blended instruction. Second, limited access to ICT tools, especially for students. Let's be honest, most of our students can't afford their own devices or laptops. And many schools don't have enough computers for even one full class to use at a time. And this results in rotating schedules, reduced exposure, or digital literacy gaps that affect performance across subjects, not just in ICT. And if we are preparing them for the 21st century workforce, this simply is not enough. Third, aging and inadequate classroom labs and common areas. Many of our classrooms are overcrowded, poorly ventilated, and full of mismatched or broken furniture. Science labs, if present, are often missing safety tools or basic equipment or microscope. Libraries become storage rooms. Covered courts double as canteens or cafeteria. Learning gets squeezed into spaces that were never meant for it. The result? Student engagement drops. Teacher creativity gets limited. Safety becomes a daily concern. Fourth, inconsistent maintenance and upkeep. We have seen all of it. A newly painted wall peeling after a year. Broken doorknobs left unrepaired. Restrooms with busted lights or no locks at all. Without regular documented preventive maintenance, we end up spending more in the long run due to urgent, costly repairs. Worse, the learning environment suffers. This is not just about appearances. It's about showing students that their space matters. Fifth, lack of competent facilities management officers. In many schools, there is no full-time person overseeing campus upkeep. Instead, it's the principal or the utility worker or whoever is available. But facilities management is more than just fixing things. It's about planning, auditing, budgeting, and coordinating safety protocols. Without someone trained and dedicated to do these things, small issues become big liabilities. Lastly, limited access to specialized facilities. We often talk about STEM, TechVoc, SPED, or arts tracks, but where are the specialized spaces to support them? No TechVoc rooms for welding or baking, no sensory rooms for SPED learners, no soundproof areas for music and media, no labs with functioning equipment. Without this, our learners miss out on discovery, creativity, and career-aligned learning. So what do? We start by naming the gaps clearly and then include them in our campus development plans, budgets, and quality assurance goals. Even small schools can make progress by being strategic because ultimately our facilities reflect our priorities. If we want students to believe in their potential, we must first show them that we have prepared a space where that potential can grow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Bong, for presenting the different challenges. I know these challenges can be turned into opportunities depending on how we treat each challenge. So may I ask our participants, do you experience the same challenges? Okay, you can type yes in the chat box if you are resonating to the challenges being shared by Sir. Before we hear from the other panelists. Okay. Daming challenges talaga, no? So Sir Bong is reminding us challenges. Now let's hear from Sir Joy. Ano bang challenges niyo?
Okay. Thank you, Sir
Present to
Giovanni.
me.
Schools frequently encounter a range of challenges related to their physical facilities, which can significantly impact the quality of education and student well-being. One of the most prevalent issues is um, outdated facilities where buildings and infrastructure no longer meet modern standards for safety, comfort, or functionality. These aging structures often lack the necessary space, ventilation, and technological integration required for effective teaching and learning. As a result, schools must grapple with the need for costly renovations or replacements to create conducive environments for students and staff. Maintenance and repairs represent another persistent challenge for educational institutions. Many schools operate under tight budgets that limit their ability to perform routine upkeep or address unexpected damages promptly. Neglecting maintenance can lead to deteriorating infrastructure, such as broken heating systems, leaks, or faulty electrical wirings, which can disrupt daily activities and compromise safety. Ensuring regular upkeeps is essential, but often becomes a lower priority when financial resources are scarce, leading to a cycle of deferred maintenance and further deterioration. Limited accessibility is an additional concern that schools face, especially as they aim to provide inclusive education for all students. Older facilities may lack ramps, elevators, or maybe hindi naman kailangan nito, no? Or accessible restrooms hindering participation for students with disabilities. Upgrading or modifying physical spaces to ensure compliance with accessibility standards requires significant investment and planning. Without adequate funding, many schools struggle to implement necessary modifications, which can result in inequitable learning environments and hinder the achievement of inclusive education goals. Funding constraints are a common root cause underlying many of these facility-related challenges. Schools often rely on limited local funding, others on government grants and donations, which may not be sufficient to cover the costs of renovations, maintenance, or technological upgrades. This financial shortfall hampers efforts to modernize learning environments, invest in new resources, or enhance IT infrastructure. Consequently, schools may resort to outdated facilities and resources, which can negatively affect student engagement, safety, security, and overall educational outcomes. Last, cybersecurity risks associated with IT support are an increasingly critical concern for the many schools. As educational institutions become more dependent on digital tools and online platforms, they become vulnerable to cyber threats such as data breaches, hacking, and malware attacks. Protecting sensitive student and staff information requires substantial investment in cybersecurity measures, which many schools find challenging given limited budgets. Failure to address these risks can compromise privacy, disrupt learning activities, and undermine trust in the school's digital systems, highlighting the urgent need for robust IT security protocols alongside technological upgrades. Lastly, in summary, schools face multifaceted challenges related to physical facilities, IT support, and learning resources. Outdated facilities and inadequate maintenance threaten safety and functionality, while limited accessibility hampers inclusivity. Funding constraints restrict the ability to modernize infrastructure and resources, and increasing cybersecurity risk demand significant attention to protect digital assets. Addressing these issues requires strategic planning, investment, and a commitment to creating safe, accessible, and technology-enabled learning environments for all students and stakeholders. Thank you, Sir Giovanni.
Thank you, Doc Joy, for adding additional challenges experienced by. At this point, before we proceed with our third panelist, may I encourage everyone Write your question in our Q&A tab or even share your insights in our chat box. Okay? So that others can also learn from your insights, from your question. All right, let's hear from Sir Clyde.
Thank you, sir. Uh, we know a lot of schools, no? Maybe even ours still face quite a few challenges in these areas, industry areas, the physical facilities, IT support, and learning resources. So we all know that many schools are dealing with old buildings that were never really updated. Some don't have proper science labs, computer rooms, or even basic comfort rooms that are safe and well maintained. And even if the buildings are there, a lack of regular maintenance means leaks, broken lights, or unusual equipment become part of everyday school life, especially among private schools. Uh, we always, anong tawag dito? We always meet the expectations of of our dear parents and students, tama. That's why they have a lot of feedbacks. Even the smallest rust na nandun po sa mga beams natin, pinapansin yan kasi it can cause harm, or it could be a hazardous to our students. Even reports na laging basa yung CR kahit laging students naman yung nag ano ng floor, mga ganun. There are a lot of expectations, hindi lang po galing sa students, even from their parents. So we always have to meet their expectations. Not all, but this is for ano din kasi, for the safety of our learners inside our campus. And kasi nga pag hindi safe yung mga students po natin, mga learners, the school is liable for it. Okay? So the reality is, if the space isn't safe or functional kasi, it affects how students learn and how teachers teach. So it's hard to focus or get creative when the environment itself is, uncomfortable or it's falling apart, 'di ba? So next, there's technology. There's a lot of concerns when it comes to technology. So we're expected to integrate tech now, or digital learning now inside our classrooms. But how can we do that when the internet is unstable or there aren't enough devices for students? Even internet connectivity na nasa principal's office lang or nasa specific office lang yung aabutin, di ba? So how can we integrate technology or digital learning inside the campus if we don't have this kind of accessibility for the students. So even if we have laptops or tablets, they don't mean much if we don't have the IT support to fix issues during digital learning cases or situations, or if students and teachers don't feel confident using them. There's also the growing concern about cybersecurity, keeping student data safe, managing online risk, especially those schools that are using specific learning management systems, and teaching students how to be responsible digital citizens, lalong-lalo na ngayon that artificial intelligence ay pwedeng-pwede mo na siyang magamit. Okay? That gives us convenience. So, the question is, do we teach the students how to use this kind of innovation, or this kind of trend in our society, or even challenges when it comes to teacher capacity, 'di ba? Ang nakakaalam lang ba ng technology or digital gadgets po sa school natin, or even the sound system ay specific persons, or lahat po ng teachers po natin? What if umabsent or may sakit po yung may alam nung nung specific equipment na yon? Tapos kailangan na for a specific program. So we have to plan for that. So kailangan may plan A, plan B, plan C. So the safest way is to inform or to train also other teachers or other educators or even other personnel inside the school about the use of such equipment. Hindi lang po dapat yung IT or yung computer teacher natin ang may alam dun sa kung paano mag-navigate ng LMS or kung paano mag-navigate po ng ating facilities. Dapat po lahat po ng mga members na nag-initiate ng learning. Okay, specifically mga educators, mga teachers, kailangan alam po nila kung paano gamitin yon. For example, the speech lab. Si English teacher lang ba, and Filipino teacher ang kailangan makaalam kung paano gamitin ang speech lab? Why not all teachers? Give them give them trainings or orientation on how to use such a laboratory or equipment inside a physical facility inside our school. So that's it. That's a common challenge talaga ever since. Actually, it's becoming a perennial challenge, 'di ba? Lalong-lalo na po sa ating sa mga tao na ayaw pong mag-update ng sarili nila, kaya na nila 'yan, 'di ba? May mga ganun pong mga challenges tayo sa mga schools. Okay? So another is what's the importance of this? So with tech kasi, it's not just about having their gadgets or using technology inside the school or inside the classroom, but it's about knowing how to use them also and making sure they're working and they are safe and well supported. Lastly, let's talk about learning resources. So, do we have learning resource centers, 'di ba, sa ating mga schools? A lot of students still rely on outdated textbooks in our libraries and there's often not enough variety. So, some schools po kasi may mga ini-stay pa rin silang mga outdated books, lalong-lalo na like mga ah, storybooks na hindi naman wala namang kinalaman po dun sa learning competencies or learning needs ng mga bata, mga ganun po. Though storybooks are essential, but we have to keep it updated, 'di ba? So there are in some cases there are digital resources, but they're either limited or it's hard to access kasi nga walang assistance from the librarian itself or not in a language or not in the context of the students. So they cannot connect with it. Because when students don't see themselves in these materials or can't understand them well, it's harder for them to stay engaged or curious. So, overall, we've got a lot of challenges, old facilities, shaky techs, and limited resources. But the good thing is, we're becoming more aware of these gaps. Nagkakandak ba tayo ng mga annual meetings or evaluations for our facilities. So the important thing is we're becoming more aware of these gaps in our physical facilities, IT support, and learning resources. And that awareness is what drives action later on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sir Clyde, for presenting to us a very contextualized challenges challenges that are experienced by schools. All right, so it's evident that while constraints exist, schools that are creative, collaborative, and proactive in addressing gaps are more likely to sustain progress despite limited resources. So challenges are inevitable, but innovation, community, and commitment turn them into opportunities. Now, before we proceed with our raffle, okay, may question? May nasagot na ba yung question? Okay. All right, so let's proceed with our second set of raffle draw. Ma'am Rachel.
Good afternoon po everyone, our dear participants. So we will have our second set of raffle draw for this session. Please be reminded po that you have to be in the Zoom meeting for
if you are to be a winner. If not po, we will call another winner po for this session. Kindly raise a hand if you are here and your name is called. So for our first winner, Miss Maria Mercedes has. Is Miss Maria present? Okay po. So Miss Maria Mercedes has is present. Congratulations po for being our fourth lucky winner. For our fifth lucky winner po for this session, we have Mr. Alvin Ignao. Is Mr. Alvin here po? Ayun po. So we regretfully inform po na wala po si Sir Alvin. Kaya po magdodraw po tayo ulit for our fifth lucky winner. We have Mr. Mark John Christian Lumindas. Is Sir Mark here? Yes po. So since Sir Mark John is here, he will be our fifth lucky winner. Congratulations po. And for our sixth and last lucky winner for this session, we have Miss Ria Hamandre. Is Miss Ria here po? Ayun po. So since Miss Ria is not here, we will call another lucky winner. We have Mr. Bernie Palacio. Okay, so wala rin po si Mr. Bernie. Let's call another name. How about po Miss Kay Ann Malinaw? Is Miss Kay Ann here po? Ayun, so wala rin po si Miss Kay Ann, so we'll call another winner. How about po Miss Audrey Adrian Herrera? Is Miss Audrey here po? Yan, so since Miss Audrey Adrian Herrera is here, she will be our sixth lucky winner. Congratulations po.
All right, congratulations to our second set of winners. At this juncture, may I encourage everyone to raise your question or post your question in our Q&A tab, or even share your insight, one sentence insight in the chat box. Dear participants, your insight, please. I'm sure kung walang tanong, klaro naman yung presentation ng ating mga panelists. So I'm sure you have insights to share. Maybe a sentence or two in the chat box. Okay, thank you so much. Congratulations sa lahat. So, all right. Let's see the chat. Okay. It's very enlightening to hear those sharings from different speakers. Congrats. Thank you, Ma'am Abilinda. Yes, very clear and informative. I hope our admin are also supportive. Thank you, Ma'am Maria. Lifelong learning is a shared responsibility of all members of the school community. Yes, I agree, Ma'am Loida. Thank you. Thank you, speakers, for the clear and informative insights. Thank you, Ma'am Pita Alina. Okay, we have one question. Okay, good afternoon po. Anyone po pwede mag-advise regarding sa e-waste or electric disposal po? So anyone can answer from our panelist?
Sir Giovanni,
Yes, sir, Dr. Joy.
for us, no, what I would like to share is our experience in our institution, specifically on the e-waste. We had a partnership with Smart Communications. Meron kami partnership sa kanila na binigyan nila kami ng container, lahat ng mga e-waste na possible doon namin iniipon. No? That's one way, no, na we targeted that particular partnership with the Smart Communication at the same time with the city government of Baguio. That is to target the UNSDG, and that is also to lessen or to minimize the e-waste production in our institution. The other one that we are practicing now is the circular economy. We are integrating circular economy in our system. Ito yung paggamit ng 10 Rs, no? Because usually we are familiar with the 3 Rs. But in the context of circular economy, what they are teaching us is to contextualize, no, that the 10 Rs, no, in our system that is pertaining to the physical and the physical plant management of an institution. Yung nabanggit ko po sa inyo kanina, yung aming pong sewage treatment plant, ginamit namin yun kasi that is to recycle the used water. No, ito po yung mga ginagamit namin na pandilig halaman, panglinis ng kung ano yung pwede naming panglinis. That is to magkaroon ng recycling ng mga used water. At later on, kung maitapon man namin yung tubig na yon, at least before namin i-dispose ang tubig, we see to it that the water is clean. So, in the context of physical plant, IT and learning facilities, it's very SDG yung ating tinitingnan dito, specifically yung ating pong environmental protection, no, na tinitingnan dyan na we consider that in this particular area, the physical plant, information technology, and learning facilities, we see to it that we are also protecting the environment. Ganun po. Actually, Sir Vanny, meron din kaming practice dito, yung binagnarin ko kayo na parang kay Sir John Clyde yata yon, yung aming Earth Hours. No? Kasi usually we have Earth Hours, no? Parang pan lang siya every tuwing March lang, 1 hour. But here in our institution, we practice Earth Hours from 7 to 9 in the morning. Lights off kami. Kung medyo madilim, kahit isa lang ang bubuksan, hindi yung full light. And then 12 to 1, talagang nakaano kami, lights off. That is to practice to lessen, no, yung carbon footprints natin sa environment.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
thank you so much, Doc Joy. So, kung Laudato School ka, so meron kong mga strategies on how to preserve the environment, like manage the e-waste. All right, so thank you so much for asking that question.
Can I add po
And
dun sa
yes, sir, Sir Clyde.
Ayan, another proactive solution or strategy for e-waste is the school can conduct the school can conduct seminars on how to tawag nito pangalagaan yung mga electronic gadgets po natin para hindi siya maging e-waste ng mas maaga. Parang ganun ba? So para ba mas tumagal yung mga electronics po natin, hindi lang sa bahay, pati sa mga ginagamit natin sa schools, mga ganun. So we can conduct seminars on that. So yon, that's one proactive idea for that.
Yeah, thank you, sir. That's about stewardship, sir, no, of the facilities. All right, I think wala nang tanong, no? May tanong, may concern dito about do you have templates for facility management?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, I can answer that. Yes, there
Yes, Sir
are
Bong.
templates for facilities management. Actually, it's a program, no? Mostly the facilities management people it's actually a course right now. So people who are trained to do facility management, there's a program for that. But people can learn, no? I think there's a template on how to do facilities management. No? There are processes that can be shared, especially for us big schools. It's important for us. So if you want templates, we can share.
Okay, thank you, dear panelists, for your answers. So that brings us to the end of our guided panel discussion. On behalf of the Rex Education, Kasama ambassadors, and the panelists, I thank of course, our panelists for their valuable insights and all our participants for joining us today. We hope today's session helps you reflect on your institution's own practices and inspires improvements in your quality assurance system, particularly in the area of physical plant and learning spaces. So at this juncture, may I invite every participant to scan the QR code for the evaluation. Thank you, dear panelists. Thank you also for sharing your insights in our chat box. Please access the link, the evaluation link in our chat box, or scan the QR code on screen for the evaluation. All right, I think tapos na tayo. Thank you, dear panelists, once again, and our dear participants for your active participation in our 11th episode on physical plant, IT, and learning facilities. I'm sure we learned a lot from our panelists and we are challenged to implement those, maybe benchmark those practices being shared by our panelists. And of course, we contextualize, we consider our context in applying those strategies para hindi tayo ma-stress. Okay. Baka ma-overwhelm kayo sa mga strategies and best practices pero hindi naman kaya ng so just select appropriate strategies na pwede or kaya ng budget. Diba? Budget talaga yung problema dito. So, your mindset, our mindset as administrators. Okay, once again, thank you so much and see you on the next episode. I think on August 19 about financial management. Thank you, Dr. Jeremy Iliab, Dr. Joselito Gutierrez, and Surgeon Clyde Branches for your very insightful sharing and discussion and answers to the questions. Once again, thank you very much and have a nice day and nice afternoon. And I'm sure some of you are traveling now or be travel after this session. Have a safe trip home, everyone. God bless.
God bless po. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Nice. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you po. Thank you, Sir Levy.
Sir Jeremy, maraming salamat po.
Sir Levy.
Dr. Joy, maraming salamat. Sir Jeremy, we hope we can invite you again.
Sure.
Thank you very much, sir.
Please do.
Sir John
Sige
Clyde,
po.
maraming salamat po. Ang galing ng
Thank you
sharing.
po.
Ang dami ko natutunan. Maraming salamat po. Sir Giovanni, congratulations to the
Thank
team.
you,
Ma'am
Sir
Hannah,
Levy.
Ma'am Pal. Thank you.
Congratulations.
We are on time.
Yes, on time. Maraming salamat. Congrats again.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.